Dragon fruit, also known as pitaya, is a popular tropical fruit, especially in Southeast Asian countries. It not only has an attractive appearance but also provides many health benefits. Here are some benefits of dragon fruit. Rich in antioxidants, dragon fruit contains high levels of vitamin C and other antioxidants such as flavonoids and carotenoids. These substances help protect the body from free radicals, slow down the aging process, and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Supports digestion. Dragon fruit is rich in fiber, which helps improve the digestive system, prevent constipation, and promote better bowel movement. Good for heart health. The fiber in dragon fruit helps reduce bad cholesterol, LDL, levels in the blood and enhances cardiovascular health. Additionally, dragon fruit contains a high amount of vitamin B3, niacin, which supports blood circulation. Boosts the immune system. The vitamin C in dragon fruit helps strengthen the immune system, enabling the body to fight against illnesses, infections, and the common cold. Aids in weight control. With its low-calorie content and high fiber, dragon fruit is an ideal snack for those looking to lose weight or maintain a healthy body. Good for the skin. The antioxidants in dragon fruit can help protect the skin from the harmful effects of sunlight and the environment, while also smoothing the skin and reducing the appearance of wrinkles. Helps regulate blood sugar levels. Some studies show that dragon fruit may help control blood sugar levels and prevent issues related to diabetes. In conclusion, dragon fruit is not only delicious but also provides many wonderful health benefits, helping the body stay healthy from the inside out. The process of growing dragon fruit is relatively simple, but it requires careful attention to ensure the plants grow healthily and yield high productivity. Here are the basic steps in the dragon fruit cultivation process. Choose the plant variety. Select high-quality dragon fruit varieties, such as white-fleshed or red-fleshed, depending on the market and climate conditions. These varieties are typically propagated from branches, as dragon fruit plants can withstand dry climate conditions. Prepare the soil. Dragon fruit grows best in well-drained, nutrient-rich soil with a pH between 5.5 and 7. Before planting, prepare the soil by tilling it to loosen it up, and apply organic compost or manure to provide nutrition for the plants. If planting on sandy soil, it is essential to add organic matter to retain moisture for the plants. Propagate and plant the seedlings. Dragon fruit is usually propagated by cutting mature branches, choosing healthy, disease-free branches. The cuttings should be about 30 to 40 centimeters long, and then left to dry for 2 to 3 days before being planted in the soil. Plant the cuttings in rows with a spacing of 2 to 3 meters between plants and 3 to 4 meters between rows. Dig holes approximately 30 centimeters deep and 30 centimeters wide. Place the cutting in the hole and cover it with soil, ensuring the cutting is not buried too deeply. Build a trellis for the dragon fruit plant. Dragon fruit is a climbing plant, so it needs a trellis to support it as it grows. The trellis can be made of wood, wire, or concrete, and should be around 1.5 to 2 meters tall. The trellis poles should be spaced about 3 to 4 meters apart to ensure the plants have enough space to grow. Care for the plants. Watering. Dragon fruit requires a lot of water, especially during the flowering and fruit development stages. However, avoid waterlogging and make sure to water regularly, but not excessively. Fertilizing. Apply fertilizer regularly to provide adequate nutrients, particularly organic fertilizer, NPK, and micronutrients. Fertilize during the rainy season and after each harvest to rejuvenate the plants. Pruning. Trim excess or unhealthy branches to help the plant focus on growing strong, healthy branches. This encourages the plant to produce more flowers and fruit. Pest and disease control. Fungal diseases, mealybugs, and other pests can harm the plant. Regularly inspect the plants and apply pesticides when necessary. Pollination. Dragon fruit plants can be pollinated by insects like bees. However, if the plants are grown in areas with few insects, you can perform artificial pollination using a brush to transfer pollen from male flowers to female flowers. Harvesting. Dragon fruit typically produces fruit 8 to 12 months after planting, but this time may vary depending on the variety and care conditions. The fruit is ready for harvest when it has bright colors, firm skin, and a moderate sweetness in the flesh when cut open. Harvest the fruit when it is fully ripe to ensure the best quality. Post-harvest care. After harvesting, continue to care for the plants by applying fertilizer, watering, and pruning the branches in preparation for the next growing season. Quality control. After each harvest, check the fruit's quality, remove any damaged or diseased fruit, and store the fruit properly to prevent spoilage. Overall, the process of growing dragon fruit is relatively simple, but it requires patience and meticulous care. With proper care, the plants can produce flowers and fruit regularly, yielding high productivity. The care process for dragon fruit plants is crucial to ensure healthy growth and high productivity. Here are the steps for caring for dragon fruit plants from planting to harvest. Watering. Regular watering. Dragon fruit is a sun-loving plant that thrives in dry climates, but it still needs adequate water for growth. Water regularly, especially during the dry season, but avoid waterlogging. Amount of water. Watering should be done in the early morning or late afternoon. Depending on the weather and soil type, the amount of water may vary, but on average, the plant should be watered about 2 to 3 times a week. Note, during the rainy season, check the drainage system to prevent waterlogging. Fertilizing. Organic fertilizers. After planting for about 2 to 3 months, you can apply organic fertilizers such as well-rotted manure or compost to provide nutrients for the plant. Fertilize during the rainy season or after each harvest to replenish the soil. Chemical fertilizers. For chemical fertilizers, use appropriate NPK fertilizers, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. From 4 to 6 months after planting, apply NPK fertilizers during the rainy season and after each harvest. Amount of fertilizer. Depending on the age of the plant, you can apply fertilizer regularly once a month, using around 500 g to 1 kg of NPK per plant. Micronutrients. To help the plant grow well, supplement with micronutrients such as magnesium, copper, and zinc. These nutrients help the plant stay healthy and resist pests and diseases. Pruning. Pruning branches. Trim weak, diseased, or unwanted branches to focus the plant's energy on healthy branches. This encourages the plant to grow well and produce more fruit. Shaping the plant. After the plant starts flowering, trim unnecessary branches to focus nutrients on the main branches. Ensure the plant has enough space to grow. Pruning after harvest. After each harvest, trim branches that are unable to flower or have been damaged or infected by pests. Building a trellis for climbing. Trellis for dragon fruit. Dragon fruit is a climbing plant, so providing a strong trellis is essential for the plant's proper growth. Build a sturdy trellis to allow the plant to climb and grow upwards. Building the trellis. The trellis can be made from concrete poles, wood, or wire. The ideal height for the trellis is 1.5 to 2 meters, allowing the plant to climb easily and grow. Pest and disease control. Common pests and diseases. Dragon fruit can be affected by pests like mealybugs, fungi, and other harmful insects. Signs of infestations include yellowing leaves, damaged fruit, or infected branches. Pest prevention. Regularly inspect the plants to detect pests and diseases early. If pests are found, you can use biological pesticides or appropriate plant protection products. Using pesticides. If necessary, you can spray insecticides or fungicides during periods when the plants are not flowering or fruiting to avoid affecting the fruit's quality. Pollination. Natural pollination. Dragon fruit can be pollinated by insects like bees. However, in areas with few insects, you may need to perform artificial pollination by using a brush to transfer pollen from male flowers to female flowers. Pollination timing. The best time to pollinate is in the evening when the flowers bloom, as dragon fruit flowers open at night. Care during the dry season. Increase watering. During the dry season, pay extra attention to watering to prevent the plants from drying out. Shade the plants. During intense heat, you can shade the dragon fruit plants with materials such as nets or leaves to reduce the impact of strong sunlight. Harvesting fruit. Harvest time. Dragon fruit usually ripens about 8 to 12 months after planting, depending on the care conditions. Harvest when the fruit is fully ripe, has bright colors, firm skin, and when lightly pressed, the skin does not dent. Proper harvesting. When harvesting, use a knife or scissors to cut the fruit off the plant to avoid damaging the fruit or the branches. Post-harvest care. Supplemental fertilizing. After each harvest, apply fertilizer to help the plant recover and prepare for the next season. Pruning branches. Trim weak or diseased branches and clean the planting area to prevent the reoccurrence of pests and diseases. Monitoring and adjustments. Monitor plant development. Regularly check the plants for any unusual signs, such as yellowing leaves, slow fruit ripening, or lack of flowering. Based on this, adjust the care routine accordingly. Caring for dragon fruit requires patience and meticulous attention, but if done correctly, you will have healthy plants that yield high-quality fruit. To export dragon fruit to meet the required standards, the product must meet strict requirements regarding quality, food safety, and production processes. Factors for dragon fruit to meet export standards. Fruit quality. Size and shape. Export dragon fruit must have a uniform size, distortions. The fruit should have a beautiful shape, bright color, and smooth skin. No cracks or damage. The fruit should not have blemishes, cracks, cuts, or signs of rotting. Color. The fruit should have an attractive, bright color that corresponds to each fruit. White fresh dragon fruit has red or yellow skin, while red fresh dragon fruit has red skin. Proper ripeness. The fruit should be harvested in days of not ripeness, not too early or too late. Overripe, it must have natural sweetness without bitterness or sourness. Harvesting process. Harvest at the right time. Dragon fruit should be harvested when it reaches optimal ripeness. It should not be picked too early or too late. The harvest time depends on the climatic conditions and variety of the plant. Use clean harvesting tools. The harvesting process should be carried out with clean pruning tools to avoid damaging the fruit and the plant. Gentle harvesting. During harvest, the fruit should be handled carefully to prevent skin scratches or damage, ensuring the fruit's quality for export. Post-harvest handling and storage. Washing and cleaning. After harvesting, dragon fruit must be washed to remove dirt, sand, and impurities to ensure fruit safety. Clean water and safe washing solutions should be used. Quality control. After harvesting, the fruit needs to be sorted and thoroughly checked to remove damaged, diseased, or substandard fruit. Cooling and storage. After cleaning, dragon fruit should be stored under appropriate temperature and humidity conditions to maintain freshness. It should be kept at a cool temperature, 7 to 10 degrees Celsius, avoiding storage in excessively hot or cold conditions. Packaging and packing. Proper packaging. Dragon fruit should be carefully packed to protect it from impacts and damage during transportation. High-quality cardboard boxes or packaging materials that do not cause contamination are ideal choices. Source labeling. The packaging should clearly display information about the origin, product quality, product codes, and contact information of the producer or exporter. Packaging standards. The packaging needs to meet international standards, ensuring resistance to moisture and protecting the product throughout the shipping process. Packaging should also offer good protection from environmental factors. Quality certification and food safety. Global GAP certification. To export dragon fruit to large markets like the EU, USA, or Japan, the fruit must achieve Global GAP, Good Agricultural Practice, certification. This international standard ensures that the product is produced, processed, and consumed safely and sustainably. HACCP certification. The hazard analysis and critical control points (HACCP) system should also be implemented to manage food safety risks during production, processing, and packaging of dragon fruit. Viet Gap certification. In Vietnam, dragon fruit must have Viet Gap, Vietnam Good Agricultural Practices, certification to ensure the product meets national and export quality standards. Plant quarantine and quality inspection. Quality inspection at border gates. Before export, dragon fruit needs to undergo a quality check at border gates to ensure there are no pests, chemical residues, or excessive levels of pesticides. Plant quarantine documents. Plant quarantine certificates from authorized authorities are required, confirming that the product is free from pests and meets the importing country's requirements. process must ensure that dragon fruit is transported under stable cold temperatures to prevent spoilage during transit. The fruit is usually transported in refrigerated containers or vehicles with cooling systems. Transport schedule. The transportation time should be carefully planned to ensure that the fruit doesn't spoil or over-ripen before reaching the destination. Compliance with importing countries' requirements. Import market regulations. Each country has its own regulations and standards for imported products. Exporters need to be familiar with the requirements of their target markets, EU, USA, Japan, China, etc., and adjust their production and processing methods accordingly. In conclusion, to export dragon fruit to meet the required standards, it is essential to not only follow proper cultivation and care procedures but also to ensure quality checks, proper storage, international certifications, and safe transportation. These are crucial factors that must not be overlooked. The process of harvesting dragon fruit requires meticulous attention to ensure that the fruit reaches the best quality, remains undamaged, and is suitable for export or domestic consumption. Detailed steps in the dragon fruit harvesting process. Determine the right time for harvest. Harvesting dragon fruit typically takes 8 to 12 months after planting the fruit. Harvest time depends on the plant variety, climatic conditions, and care practices. Observe ripeness signs. Dragon fruit is harvested when the skin has a bright color. For red flesh dragon fruit, the skin will be bright red, and for white flesh dragon fruit, the skin will be red and yellow. The skin is smooth, and the fruit no longer feels firm as it did when unripe. Check ripeness. Fully ripe dragon fruit will have a proper size, with no cracks in the skin. When gently pressed, the skin should not be. Use appropriate harvesting tools. Harvesting tools. Use sharp knives or scissors to carefully cut the fruit from the plant, avoiding any damage to the fruit skin or the plant's branches. Ensure that the fruit doesn't collide or get bruised during harvest. Maintain cleanliness. Harvesting tools should be thoroughly cleaned before and after each use to prevent spread of diseases or bacteria. Harvest the fruit. Proper cutting. Harvest dragon fruit when it is fully ripe by cutting close to the stem, about 1 to 2 centimeters from the base, avoiding damage to the fruit's skin. This ensures that the fruit remains undamaged and free from bruising. Harvest early hours to reduce stress on the plant and protect the fruit's quality. Harvest early in the morning or during the cooler evening hours, avoiding loading or fruit conditions. Quality check during harvesting. Sorting fruit during the harvesting process. Sorting fruit to remove things that are damaged, infested with pests, defects such as cracks, blemishes, or bruising. This ensures that only the best quality fruits are good for consumption or export. Check skin and flesh. The dragon fruit should have smooth, blemish-free skin, and the flesh should be sweet, neither too soft nor too hard. Post-harvest handling. Clean the fruit. After harvest, dragon fruit should be washed to remove dust, dirt, sand, or any other impurities on the skin. However, avoid washing the fruit too roughly or with contaminated water, as this could affect the quality and food safety. Cool the fruit. To prolong freshness, you can cool the fruit immediately after harvesting by placing it in a cool area, avoiding direct sunlight. Packaging and storage. Package the fruit. After harvest, dragon fruit should be carefully packaged to prevent damage during transportation. Typically, the fruit is packed in cardboard boxes or specialized packaging materials, with paper or foam padding to protect the fruit. Temporary storage. If the fruit is not immediately consumed, it should be stored at a cool temperature, between 7 to 10 degrees Celsius, to maintain freshness and quality. Quality check before export or consumption. Quality inspection. Before export or domestic consumption, dragon fruit must undergo a thorough inspection to ensure that it meets quality standards, with no blemishes, damages, or signs of pest infestation. Phytosanitary certification. If exporting, the dragon fruit needs to undergo a plant quarantine process to ensure that it is free from diseases and complies with the requirements of the importing country. Post-harvest care and maintenance. Care for the plants after harvest. After harvesting a batch of fruit, continue to care for the plants by fertilizing, watering, and pruning unnecessary branches to prepare for the next harvest. Notes. Avoid harvest using proper tools, to post-harvest care and quality checks. These factors help ensure that the dragon fruit reaches high quality and is ready for consumption or export. The process of packaging and exporting dragon fruit requires careful preparation to ensure the fruit maintains its best quality throughout transportation and consumption. Below are the detailed steps in the packaging and export process of dragon fruit. Harvesting the fruit. Harvesting at the right time. Dragon fruit is harvested when it reaches perfect ripeness, with bright colors and no blemishes or cracks. Harvesting at the right time helps the fruit retain its freshness for a longer period and ensures quality for export. Sorting and quality inspection of the fruit. Sorting the fruit. After harvesting, the dragon fruit should be sorted by size, shape, and quality. Damaged, cracked, bruised, or substandard fruits should be removed. Quality inspection. The fruit should be checked to ensure it is free from pests, not bruised, with smooth skin, and not overripe or underripe. Cleaning the fruit. Washing the fruit. The dragon fruit needs to be washed to remove dust, dirt, sand, or impurities on the skin. The washing water must be clean and free from harmful chemicals. Gentle handling. The washing process must be done gently to avoid damaging the skin of the fruit, and the stems and skin surface should be cleaned thoroughly. Cooling and temporary storage. Cooling the fruit. After washing, dragon fruit needs to be cooled at a low temperature, around 7 to 10 degrees Celsius. This helps the fruit stay fresh longer and prevents quick spoilage or damage. Storage. The cooled dragon fruit can be stored in a refrigerated warehouse before packaging and export. This helps keep the fruit fresh and ensures quality during export. Packaging the dragon fruit. Choosing packaging materials. Dragon fruit should meet international standards for materials that are waterproof and shockproof are used. Protective padding. Inside each carton box, the dragon fruit can be cushioned with paper or foam material to prevent impact and keep the fruit from being bruised during transport. Carton size. The carton box should be the right size to protect the fruit without making it too tightly packed or too loose, ensuring that the fruit doesn't collide with one another. Proper packing. The fruit should be carefully arranged in the carton box without overcrowding, ensuring that the fruit does not get crushed. The dragon fruit can be arranged in a group or stacked horizontally or vertically, depending on the box size. Packaging should be done immediately after the fruit to ensure the quality of the fruit when exported. Labels and certifications. Label packaging of the product should have clear labels, including information about the manufacturer, production date, expiration date, and product codes. Food safety certifications. Ensure that the dragon fruit has certifications such as Global GAP, HACCP, or VIET-GAP to prove that the fruit is produced under safe processes and free from harmful pesticide residues. Phytosanitary certification. Before export, dragon fruit needs to have a phytosanitary certificate to confirm that the product is free from pests and meets the manufacturing standards. Quality inspection and control. Export quality inspection. Before export, dragon fruit will undergo thorough checks for quality and quantity. The fruit should be inspected for freshness, ripeness, uniformity in size, and appearance. Pesticide residue test. The product must be tested to ensure that pesticide residues do not exceed the permitted levels. Transportation and export. Cold chain transportation. The transportation of dragon fruit is usually done using refrigerated transport, cold containers, or cold storage to keep the fruit fresh throughout the journey. The fruit should be maintained at temperatures between 7 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees Celsius during transportation. Transportation time. The transportation time should be carefully calculated to ensure that the dragon fruit does not become overripe or spoiled. Transportation from Vietnam to international markets like the US, EU, Japan, or China can range from a few days to a week, so the quality of the fruit must be maintained throughout the journey. Export documentation. The dragon fruit should have complete export documentation, including an export license, commercial invoice, transport documents, phytosanitary certificate, and other relevant paperwork. Transport management and customs clearance. Customs clearance. Upon arrival at the import port, Phytosanitary certificates and quality certifications will be checked to ensure that the product meets the importing country's requirements. Domestic transport. After customs clearance, the dragon fruit will be transported to distribution points or supermarkets within the importing country. Customer care and feedback. Customer service. After export, the exporter should maintain a good relationship with customers in the target market. This can include assisting with any issues related to product quality and supporting improvements in the production and export processes. In conclusion, the packaging and export process of dragon fruit includes important steps such as harvesting, sorting, washing, packaging, cold transportation, and customs clearance. This process requires thorough inspection